This presentation will explain the foundations of business communication. Credibility. The first aspect of business communication that we will look at is credibility. Credibility is being regarded as trustful and honest. This is important because you want what you are saying to be taken seriously and with high regard. People will not want to listen to you if they cannot trust your word. The three components of credibility are competence, caring, and character. Competence is having the required knowledge and skills to complete tasks efficiently. To show competence, you want to prove your ability by focusing on the success of your results. The next component is caring, which is expressing kindness and concern for others in order to build relationships. Caring is important because people are more trusting when they feel valued. Lastly, character is the adhering to moral and ethical values. When communicating with people, they want to see if you share the same values, but most importantly, if you actually utilize the values rather than just saying you do. The FAIR test. Being fair is also an important aspect of communicating and establishing credibility. The FAIR test helps determine if you're being fair by breaking it down into facts, access, impacts, and respect. Facts. Is the communication factual? Make sure that you have presented all necessary facts and did so correctly. Your communication should not be misleading. Access. Is your information and motives accessible? Don't hide information or motives that will make people assume you have a different motive or agenda. Share where you got your information and why it is being used. Impact. How will the communication affect others? Will it help or hurt them? Respect. Is your communication respectful? Are you acknowledging the value of others? Interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is verbally or non-verbally exchanging information or emotions between people. Emotional intelligence is a key aspect to interpersonal communication. It is the ability to understand your own and other people's emotions, therefore allowing you to communicate clearly while managing your emotions. This can be really important in stressful situations because it allows you to react calmly. Some aspects to build interpersonal communication are to be positive and welcoming, express empathy, active listening, which is giving the person speaking your full undivided attention, building rapport, which is getting to know everyone, and having civil disagreements, which is avoiding arguments. Diversity. Diversity is a major part of business communication because you will encounter many types of people in the workplace. This can include differences in race, ethnicity, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and various disabilities. In the workplace, everyone should feel welcome and included. It is easy to find differences between one another, but it is valuable to find the similarities. You might not be so different after all. Some key aspects to promote diversity are to be respectful, take the time to learn and understand each other. Focus on the strengths of each individual. Listen to feedback on how the person can feel more comfortable and included. And fourth, it's also important to note how stereotyping and stigma can be hurtful and discriminatory. It's important to avoid such statements even if you believe you're coming from good intentions. You never know how it may affect someone. Business messages. It takes a lot of planning to create a well-written business message. If the message does not seem thought out, it can seem unprofessional. It may negatively reflect on your credibility. There are 3 steps, which are planning, writing, and reviewing. Planning. Organizing the correct content. Keep in mind who your audience is, what information you want to share, and what the overall message is. Writing. Make sure you deliver the message correctly. To do this, you need to set the tone, have a consistent style, and design the message. Reviewing. Always double check and proofread your work. Make sure that your message is fair. Also, be open to feedback from others. Other ways of communication. As the world and technology evolves, it has opened up new ways of communication. In a business setting, you may need to utilize several forms of communication. They can be divided into two categories: spoken and non-spoken communication. Both have their own benefits and drawbacks. You will need to determine which is the most appropriate form of communication for each situation. Spoken communication. Examples would be face-to-face conversations, meetings, phone calls, and video calls. These are rich forms of communication because you will receive an immediate response. Not only will they verbally respond, but you can pick up on their tone, facial expressions, and gestures. The downside to spoken communication is that it is not ideal for highly detailed information. It requires planning, and there is less control. Non-spoken communication. Examples are text, blog, and any other messaging platforms. These forms of communication allow you to be in control of when and how you respond. It gives you the time to really give thought to what you want to say and how detailed you want to get. Non-spoken communication also allows for the conversation to be documented. Meetings. Meetings are a way to collaborate and share ideas with a group. It is a good way to check in with everyone and ensure everyone is on the same page. However, meetings need to be planned and executed correctly for them to be efficient. If not, they may end up seeming like a waste of time. You will first want to determine what the purpose of the meeting is and who will attend. Agendas are a great addition as they can help with coordinating the flow of the meeting. Agendas are sent before the meeting and they will cover the meeting time, the purpose, the goals, expectations, and required materials. It will also address any assigned roles for the meeting. The agenda will get the participants prepared and informed about the meeting. During the meeting, you should try to remain on topic to prevent getting distracted and off schedule. Make sure you hit all the key points that was set on the agenda. During the meeting, it can also be beneficial to have the members participate by asking questions or giving their thoughts. At the end of the meeting, make sure to summarize what was discussed and send a follow-up email of the summarized information. Bad news and difficult conversations. There will be times where communication will not be pleasant. You may have to deliver bad news, and it is important to know how to do it properly. You do not want to avoid these conversations because prolonging it may make it worse in the long run. These kind of conversations are most often done in person or with other forms of spoken communication. This is because you need that rich communication to connect with the other person. You want them to pick up on your expression and tone. It is important to be caring and sympathetic since the news might be difficult for the other person to process. However, you want to avoid sugarcoating because it strays away from the truth of the situation. You will want to remain calm and speak clearly so they can understand what is happening and what the results will be. The aftermath will be unique to each situation, but explain what the future steps will look like. How is it going to impact them? Is there consequences or changes to be made? Those are all necessary things to discuss. And then the references was Carden P.W. 2024 Business Communication Developing Leaders for a Network World. McGraw-Hill LLC.